It's August 14th and this is my 7th garden update of the season. Let me show you what I did with the tomatoes this year. First of all, I want to show you the sag I have on my poles here. Now this is a 10-foot span from one end to the other, and the weight of the tomatoes is just too much. It's sagging this pole. So what I'm going to do is get a 2x4, cut a slot in it for down there, and prop this up so that it doesn't break or anything on me anyway. So let me show you what I did. These tomatoes have gotten so big up here and so heavy, top heavy. What I did, I took down here and I tied some twine around the stem and I tied it onto the pole. And that way so it wouldn't fall over, because if you look down here, this is where it's wrapped around and it's not wrapped any farther. So it might have broken off down here. I don't want to lose this tomato or plant. So that's what I've done with everything that's gone above the height of this pole. The other problem with this pole sagging like that is when you get down here, you see this, and you have this where it comes out here and it's dropped a little bit. So I want to keep that from happening in the future. I planted beans over here where my onions were. These are 2 weeks old. They came up really fast. They were up and started sprouting in 3 days. This is the beans I have here are Provider, and these over here are wax bean. It's Jade 2. And then what I did over here on the side garden, I pulled everything out. The carrots, the second harvest of carrots I wanted to get, nothing came up. And then I put some beets in the near half of this garden bed, and I got like 8 came up. So I ditched everything, put in more of the Jade 2 beans, and they came up within 3 days too, so they were sprouting really well. So that was really nice that everything happened really quickly. I'm going to get a good harvest of beans out of this. One thing I want to mention on these tomatoes is I've been getting suckers where I've never gotten suckers before. Now I went through today and I already got them, but I'll show you what I got. See this little thing right here? These are happening all over my plants, and I've never had that happen before. These are growing out of the leaf branches here. Normally they come in right here. You see where I cut one off? They come in there, but I've been having these came up in this last couple of days, and then I've had some come off right there. See where I cut that off? I had a sucker grow off of there where it just did these tomatoes, and it just kept growing, and was going to do another set of tomatoes farther out, and I didn't want to do that though, so I cut those off. Let me show you down here. See that crack in that tomato? That's caused by inconsistent watering. So what happens is, if I don't water for a few days, the tomatoes will have a tendency to dry out a little bit on the skin, and then when you get water, the tomato expands and the skin has hardened up, so it cracks like that. So I'm going to make a point of being more regular with my watering. And let me show you the size of the tomatoes here. Look at these tomatoes. There's my hand. I've got decent sized hands, unlike somebody else we might know, some politician. Anyway, no Trump jokes. So that's probably at least a pound, but I've got some really, really nice sized tomatoes. Not quite these are half pound or so, but I've got some really, really nice tomatoes coming in up here, and they're going to be really good for canning. These grape tomatoes are doing really well. These are the determinate type, so they'll get so big and then stop growing. I'm assuming that's the idea anyway, but the grape tomatoes are coming in. They're a little oblong, just like you get at the store. In fact, that's where I got the seeds. Got the seeds from one my wife bought. Took the seeds, she ate the tomato. I took the seeds, grew this for her so I can get some for her for later in the season. These are my ridiculous peppers. I don't know what's going on with this, but a local farmer I get corn from said that his peppers are doing really well too. So I had to break out, I couldn't break out the yardstick now. I had to break out the yard and a few inches stick, and that's where my peppers are. So nuts, 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 nuts. If we take this one, I'd say that's going to be another 3 inches, and so we're at 42, 43 inches for the tall ones here, and they're doing really well. Let me get down in here. I have a variety of peppers, and they're doing really well. The only issue I have with my peppers this year is I have blossom end rot. Blossom end rot is where there's a lack of calcium, insufficient calcium in the soil, and so what they'll do is once they get close to ripening, the bottom will rot and you'll lose your pepper. So I've lost a bunch of peppers, probably 7 or 8 peppers so far, and I sprinkled some. I've got eggshells that I used for my tomatoes, and I sprinkled those in when I planted my tomatoes. So what I did was way down here, I sprinkled my eggshells. Now, I don't know if that'll do any good now, but we shall see. But the peppers have getting close to ripen. I picked a few today. Here's my some sweet peppers, sweet hot peppers. I've got some cayenne peppers right here, and I think these are red or orange or something like that. Anyway, so I've got several different colors of peppers. Really nice. And then over here are my big red ones. I've got a few in here. I'll find them. Big red peppers. Now I don't know if I'm going to let them turn or not. I think what I'm going to do, so I don't lose them all, is just go ahead and pick them when they're green. I'll set them on the patio, let them ripen up, and then see if they change color without rotting. So, live and learn, and next year I won't have that happen because I'm going to sprinkle a lot of calcium eggshells in there. Here's my second harvest of green beans. These are the Jade 2. I had some pest problems, so I sprinkled some powder on the leaves to take care of the pests, but I'm already getting flowers. These have been in the ground for maybe, I think, 4 weeks now, so they've come up really well. I think they flowered a little early. The maturation date, harvest to harvest, is 60 days for these beans. I think it's going to happen sooner. Well, I think that covers it. Everything's just like always, doing pretty well. Hey, what happened to the peppers? Oh, there we go. There's some blossom end rot right down there. See that? Yeah, don't want that. We'll take that. I'll take that. There we go. Get my shadow out of there. We'll take that, cut the bad part off, eat the rest. Ooh, yummy. So, anyway, so other than the blossom end rot with the peppers, everything's doing great. I've got some great sized tomatoes in there. I've already harvested half the tomatoes that I harvested, yeah, easy for me to say, that I picked, there we go, that I picked all of last year, and I got a lot left over. So my goal with the tomatoes is to have 200, 250 pounds of tomatoes and lots of peppers. Gonna have a lot of green beans too. That'll be it. Gone for a couple of weeks. Be back. Remember, if you like the information that I'm sharing on here, please subscribe to my channel. I'm not an expert, but I've been diddling around with this for 5 years, and it's been evolving, and I think getting better, and you learn as you go. So see you in a couple of weeks.